Today on Forbes, a gonzo plan to beat China with giant robot boats. On a muggy August morning at a shipyard set among the sugarcane fields of Franklin, Louisiana, a group of executives from Saronic's Austin headquarters stood sweating in blazers. Alongside them were local politicians and shipyard workers in teal shirts and steel-toed boots, employees whose jobs had been saved from closure when the yard was bought by the well-funded builder of robotic speedboats. As they watched, CEO Dino Mavroukas donned a fireproof coat and gloves, pulled on a welder's mask, and in a shower of sparks, carefully spot-welded the company emblem onto the aluminum keel of the largest vessel the 3-year-old startup has attempted to build, the 150-foot-long Marauder. Saronic designed the unmanned vessel to carry two 40-foot cargo containers up to 3,500 miles at 30% less cost than a crewed ship. It's perfect, conceptually, for shuttling commercial cargo to smaller ports in the U.S., ferrying supplies during wartime to U.S. troops spread out across the Pacific, or delivering a boatload of hurt from missile launchers. The way the genial Mavroukas sees it, Marauder is a major step toward reclaiming maritime dominance for the United States. By removing crews and all the systems needed to support human life on board, he argues that Saronic can make ships simpler, faster, and cheaper to build, potentially jump-starting America's withered shipbuilding industry. He told Forbes, quote, "We don't just want to compete with the Chinese, we want to outbuild the Chinese." The 44-year-old former Navy SEAL is facing long odds. Over the past 2 decades, China, through low labor costs and heavy state investments, has risen from an afterthought to become the world's dominant shipbuilder. It now produces 53% of the world's commercial ships, according to a recent estimate from the think tank CSIS. The US, which was the global shipbuilding titan exiting World War II, produces a minuscule 0.1%. Last year alone, the China State Shipbuilding Corporation built more commercial vessels by tonnage than the entire U.S. shipbuilding industry has produced since the end of World War II. The Chinese Navy now has more vessels than the U.S., though American warships still pack double the number of missile launch cells. With a potential Taiwan conflict looming, U.S. intelligence says Chinese Premier Xi Jinping wants his military ready to invade by 2027, Washington is on high alert. Both parties are pushing to expand the Navy and the civilian cargo fleet needed to support a war in the Pacific. President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, passed in July, includes $29 billion in funding for naval shipbuilding and industrial base revitalization. But the lack of domestic shipyard capacity and workers is a bottleneck that can't quickly be overcome. Saronic is one of a growing number of defense startups pitching the Pentagon on a different approach, mass-producing small, cheap, autonomous vessels that can operate in swarms, patrolling, resupplying, and engaging without risking human lives. If one gets lost, it's no big loss. Saronic is the best funded of the bunch. In February, it raised $600 million at a $4 billion valuation from backers including Elad Gil and Andreessen Horowitz, bringing its total funding to $850 million, more than triple that of its closest competitor, Saildrone, according to PitchBook. In May, Saronic won another measure of validation that separates it from the pack, a Navy contract worth up to $392 million that appears to be for Corsair, a 24-foot boat that the company says costs less than $2 million. The award tops competitor Black Sea, which says it's churning out 30 16-foot robot boats a month under a contract worth up to $212 million. Saronic says it's starting to build Corsair at volume. It's turned out more than 100 at its Austin factory since building the first 14 months ago, and is now producing them at a rate of 500 a year. And it's preparing to open a bigger factory in November that will quintuple that number. But apart from Corsair, Saronic is pivoting to leave the crowded field of small boats to others, as it aims for bigger sizes, longer ranges, increased mission capabilities, and bigger fees. For full coverage, check out Jeremy Bogaski's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.